After 6.5 years, we are only 2 weeks away, and I don't think I can wait that long now that I know it's real. The way Team Cherry have gone about this has been glorious. First getting the cogs turning with the Xbox ROG, then the demo allowing people to get hands-on again, and then bang! Sucker punches with the release date. But even more exciting, we have an interview by Jason Bloomberg asking why it took so long, and they gave the most perfect answer possible. They also expanded on their development process and why they were so quiet. I'll stop twisting your toes and just get straight into it. Most of the time when a delay happens in a game's development, it's because of some internal issue or scope creep or some other outside factor, which, you know, we did go through a pandemic. But this really didn't affect Team Cherry at all. They said, quote, "We've been having fun," Gibson said. "This whole thing is just a vehicle for our creativity anyway. It's nice to make fun things. It was never stuck or anything," Gibson said. "It was always progressing. It's just the case that we're a small team and games take a lot of time. There wasn't any big controversial moment behind it." So while the community has been going wild talking about how there might be drama or that they might have abandoned it or one of them might have just died, they were just chilling. "I think we're always underestimating the amount of time and effort it'll take us to achieve things," Gibson said. "It's also that problem where, because we're having fun doing it, it's not like it's taking longer. This is awful. We really need to get past this phase. This is a very enjoyable space to be in. Let's perpetuate this with some new ideas." Team Cherry has talked about this in the past, about how they use scope creep to their advantage, where they'll almost explore the game they're creating and let it naturally flow from one place to another. "I remember at some point I just had to stop sketching," Gibson said, "because I went, everything I'm drawing here has to end up in the game. That's a cool idea. That's in. That's a cool idea. That's in. You realize if I don't stop drawing, this is going to take 15 years to finish." Which, in my opinion, is the most hype part about this. You see, later in the interview, this was said. Gibson and Pellin say they're happy that the game is finally coming out, and even happier that they will get to keep working on it, which they still find enjoyable after 7 years. They haven't burned out or shown any desire to take a break. Instead, they're already making big plans to add extra content to Silksong in the coming months and years. "Launching is obviously quite exciting," Pellin said. "What comes after for us is equally exciting. The most interesting thing now is what we can add to it next," Gibson said. "We've got a plan. Admittedly, some of the plans for that stuff are kind of ambitious as well, but hopefully we can achieve some of it." Silksong 2, baby! No, but in all seriousness, why not? We saw how they handled this game when it originally planned to be DLC and just kept growing to the point of being its own game. Even if we don't get Silksong 2, it's still incredibly exciting. The team is so keen on development that after all these years, they still are champing at the bit to let their creative and mechanical genius flow and bless all their fans. And you know, if they want, this world they've built has almost endless possibilities. And not just in games. They could write a novel. A cartoon in Ari's art style would go insanely hard. Who knows, maybe we'll get a Hollow Knight land one day, complete with characters from the hit movie, including Zote the Mighty and Fluke Hermit, and a Nosk petting zoo for the kiddies. Back to the interview. Bloomberg pointed out, thanks to the first game's massive success, Gibson and Pellin no longer have to scrounge leftovers. For Pellin, who has 2 kids and a third on the way, that's provided an inestimable peace of mind. For Gibson, who said he spends most of his time at the office, it hasn't changed much. "I live in a very basic 2-bedroom apartment," he said. "Sometimes I think, you know what would be better? Is a 1-bedroom apartment, because then there's even less to maintain." The game has continued to generate revenue by reaching new players, perhaps in large part due to the Silksong buzz. When the studio announced Silksong in February of 2019, Hollow Knight had sold 2.8 million copies. The game has sold another 12 million copies since then, allowing Team Cherry to keep working on the sequel indefinitely without having to worry about running out of funds. "We're very lucky in that regard," Gibson said. "I don't ever really think about it that much. Maybe that's the privilege of it." As the years went on, the hype kept building. Meanwhile, chat sections for video game live streams and Nintendo Direct events were plagued with the same feral messages repeated over and over. Silksong when? Gibson and Pellin tuned it all out, rarely going online. They say they never read comments on YouTube or Reddit, although occasionally friends or family would send them some of the funniest ones. It's nice that people are passionate about the game, and that they've obviously formed their own strange or very exciting communities around it, Gibson said. Feels like we're going to ruin their fun by releasing the game, Pellin said. Which is both hilarious but also true. What are we all going to chant on every gaming event from now on? I mean, them keeping quiet was, in my opinion, the best play for marketing, since it got people talking so much more. I have heard so many stories of people buying and loving the original Hollow Knight because of the hype train around Silksong. And to clarify, they really did think it wouldn't take this long. We did genuinely believe that was the case, Pellin said. There was a period of 2 or 3 years when I thought it was going to come out within a year. You know, I hate to be that guy, but you can check my Discord. I've been saying for years, I don't care how long they take, so long as the game is good. And ladies and gentlemen, we're about to see if this theory absolutely crushes it, or if it would have been better to be rushed and over with like Cyberpunk. So it's a pretty good time to be a Hollow Knight fan. I have no doubt they'll absolutely blow it out of the water. It looks incredible, and I can't wait to take a big, juicy bite of this Silksong sandwich. Subscribe, you silly sausage. Nah, for real, why'd they add sexual assault to Silksong?